everyone. Hey, and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host, Tom Quee. Thanks so much for joining me. And I must say a special thanks because this is the first episode that's going to be on the Patreon. So I just want to say thank you to anyone that is helping to support the show in any way on that account. And this is your reward. You know, we're going to be doing a lot of exclusive material. And this is basically a thank you to people who are supporting the show, who are helping it going. And yeah, from the bottom of my heart, really, I just want to say thank you once again because it's a true honor that people would, you know, pay money for something that was just a sort of dream a year ago, and people are really getting on board with it. So I just want to say thanks so much. And before we get into today's review, I just want to say also, please follow us at Battle Rap Resume. Please get in contact, battlerapresume@gmail.com. Please like us on the Facebook. Please email me as well. As I said, battlerapresume@gmail.com. Just get in touch in any way possible. The Red Bubble Shop, all of that sort of stuff. But today is, you know, this is a founding document of modern battle rap culture, no doubt. It's an interesting film within its own right, but it's something that's so much more important, you know, than just a mere movie. But Danny, it has 76% on Rotten Tomatoes. Is that a fair score for 8 Mile?
I'd say it's a pretty fair score, yeah. Because I think that 70% is mainly because it, you know, shows Detroit. It shows like the kind of rap culture that was, you know, in Detroit. Like the rap battles are very impressive as well. Like you know, they seem very off the cuff, and they make it, and it's not done in a corny way. It's done, you know, it's very exciting. If you're not associated with battle rap in any way whatsoever, you can still really enjoy it. And there's a lot of like and there's a fair bit of drama as well in it as well that people, you know, so even if you don't like the rap, you can sort of, you know, get on board with it enough to enjoy the rest of the film.
Definitely. And, you know, it's so interesting because 8 Mile, I guess, you know, it's interesting. I started a job last week, and, you know, when you meet people, you start to talk about what you're into or whatever. And there's this guy at work, actually. The three of us started at work. There were two kind of like, you know, 20-somethings, me and this guy. And there was like this 50-year-old like man with like long hair who's really into like medieval recreation and all that sort of stuff. Like it's quite an interesting guy, no doubt. And he was kind of asking me what I did and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I'm really into battle rap. And of course he said, oh, like 8 Mile.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, which on a certain level, I was like, okay, at least he's aware of this. You know, I didn't necessarily think he would be, but it is that go-to, isn't it? And I remember Chris Lee's battle. Actually, I can't remember the fucking battle, but I remember he's about to start his round, and someone goes, "Let's go, B-Rabbit," and it's like, and he shoots like a really dirty look behind him or something like that. You know, fair enough. And so, and it just hangs over the scene. But do you have any early memories? Because obviously we're the same age. I believe we were about 10 when this film came out, and I do remember Lose Yourself being everywhere.
It was absolutely everywhere, and people knew about the song before they knew about the film. Really, it was this, you know what I mean? Even when you like, I looked it up on its Wikipedia page. It say like, you know, it wasn't like, you know, he got a fair amount of awards and recognition for this role or something. It was basically like Lose Yourself became a Grammy, and this. So it seems to me that this, it won an Oscar for this,
for best film, which is just fucking incredible. And you know, I mean, 8 Mile. I think I watched it when I was a bit younger, but I haven't seen it for many, many years, and I was just rewatching it for this. And yeah, I have to kind of agree with that 76%. I don't necessarily think it's the most mind-blowing film out there, but it's quite well written. There's never any parts of it that I think are actually bad. It's just a little generic in parts, but it's quite well shot as well. It looks quite good. It
does look really good, actually. The cinematography's pretty damn good, to be fair, in that respect. You know, you kind of see the sort of dirty suburban parts of Detroit, and you kind of, you know, you get to sort of enjoy the visuals of, like, you know, the kind of like poverty stricken areas of it, and in that respect, I say. Visually, it does have that, and of course, before we get onto the rap battles themselves, what do you think of Eminem in the film? He does a pretty good job.
Yeah, he's okay, really. Isn't he? Yeah.
It's quite a sort of minimal performance, really. Like, it sort of ranges from like him not really saying much, having this kind of like not bothered sort of expression and delivery a lot of the time, and then he'll just go mental in some scenes and start like screaming and shouting and stuff. Yeah, he does. So
he does have two modes, doesn't he? I think that's fair to say. But this is, I was watching the Honest trailer for 8 Mile just before we went live, and I think they summed it up best when they referred to Eminem as Rappy Balboa, which which is what it is. I mean, everyone's. I'm sure most people listening to this episode have seen this film. They know that it's set in 1995, which I think is quite cool. And the soundtrack's fucking awesome. Like Biggie's in there, Tupac's in there. Naughty by Nature, Wu-Tang. Like it's a great vibe, isn't it?
It is really good vibe. There's a fair amount of rappers in there as well.
Yeah,
that are featured in it. It's quite so it's very much, even though it's released to a mainstream audience, you get the sense it's very much a film that's made by rappers for rappers. Really, people that love this culture and this kind of music.
Yeah, and in the obviously the opening scene is M nervously waiting before the battle, and he has his headphones on, and it happens in loads of films, but it's quite nice when you realise the music you're hearing, it's kind of diegetic sound. He takes his headphones off and you realise that he was listening to the Shook Ones beat, which is obviously a fantastic beat. And then when he takes his headphones off, you have Unbelievable by Biggie playing in the background, which is really, really nice to hear as well, which proper dates it. Weird to see Anthony Mackie as the villain as well, Falcon.
That is yeah.
Captain America's ally.
Yeah, before I joined the Avengers, I just went and fucked with rappers in Detroit, like put them off, and had like a minor crime syndicate.
Yeah, what are they? The New World Order, or whatever they're called, like that. Yeah,
some shit like that, man. That was like his first. That was his first role as well.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
man.
It's a good role.
Really great.
Yeah.
He did a great job as well.
He did. I think everyone does a good job. I think there's lots of good actors in this film. Like you say, Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon, man.
General fucking Zod. Like, what the hell?
I was supposed to say Zod, man.
But Michael Shannon's been in tons of great shit, as is Kim Basinger. Like, great to see her as well.
Yeah, man, she's kind of gone off the radar a little bit now, but Kim Basinger, man, she was really good as this sort of like white trash mom.
Yeah, it's weird when she tells him that he won't eat her out. And he tells her son that.
He's about to go in his room and stuff, and he's like, he won't go down on me. General Zod won't eat my pussy.
Yeah, it is a weird moment, and it is a very an underdog by numbers kind of story. And one of the things that I thought was quite interesting about the film is, you're not really given a reason why B Rabbit can't just perform. You know what I mean? Why does he keep choking? It's not really explained, because clearly Future, Mekhi Phifer, his kind of his representative part of his crew, has such faith in him, and when we do see him battle, he is decent, but. You know what I mean? It's kind of, does he just have anxiety? It's not quite clear.
It does, isn't it? You don't really get the sense, like, even when he's like, he says that he threw up, like, before the battle and stuff. He doesn't seem anxious particularly. He still seems, like it's a battle, and he's just prepared as he can be, really. And it's the only real thing you get really is just him not rapping. And then you're like, oh, I guess he was anxious. I guess he choked. He just couldn't hack it.
Yeah, and it's a far cry from Don't Flop, isn't it? The kind of battles that we get. I mean, they are kind of similar, but they're not quite as intricate. I mean, it's obviously on beat as well is the big difference, I suppose.
Yeah, it's when you say rap battles to someone that has no idea what it is, they'll immediately think it's a freestyle as well. It would never occur to them that it's it would be a written battle. I think a lot of people that are non-battle rap fans would immediately think that. Occasionally you get people in like comment sections on like Don't Flop or King of the Dot. Like, you don't really get it so much now, but every now and then you'll get some guy that goes like, what happened to, like, why isn't it freestyle, man? What happened to, like, why can't they just keep it at its roots? And then like someone will cut. I remember somebody did it on the King of the Dot one, and like King of the Dot replied, like, it hasn't been freestyle for about 10 years now.
And then and people who put that comment like, oh, it was freestyle back in the day, it's like, no, you watched 8 Mile, like, you weren't watching Scribble Jam and all this kind of shit, like, you know what I mean? You've just watched this one film and you're kind of putting it out there. And I completely agree, it is such a cliche. Like, recently Shuffle T and Marlo, Big J and Left with the Confluence battle went top of Reddit, which is fucking crazy. It was top of our videos, and there were so many face palmy many comments like, "Oh, this isn't real. This is written." It's like,
oh yeah, it's unbelievable, man. Like they're different kettles of fish, freestyle and written, man.
Yeah,
it's just the way it is, and people don't realize that.
No, and we have we see Eminem choke at the start, which is it's screenwriting 101, isn't it? Yeah, the first scene, your hero has a certain downfall that he has to overcome, and the obstacles are put in place. And I will give that to the film. Eminem like has a lot of shitty stuff happen to him pretty much constantly, and it is kind of almost inspiring at the end. It's not like the 50 Cent film where they made him out as this kind of angelic anti-hero. He's kind of lives a shitty life in the 313. It is true to that in a sense.
Yeah, he does what he can, man. He gets he gets fucked over by his mate. He gets,
yeah. And we see the first time we really hear him rapping, which is a really good scene actually, when he's like freestyling over Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, that's good. And when they're in that sort of like parking lot as well, and they're all just like spitting together.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really good one.
Yeah,
and then Anthony Mackie shows up with his goons.
You brought your goons. and then when Eminem pulls that guy on the bonnet, I was like, that's a bit far.
Yeah, he's only said that you choked. It's not as though he said your mum's a hoe. He just said you choked in the battle, and then he made like a little gesture or whatever, and then Eminem just lost his shit and went like Super Saiyan on him.
Yeah, entirely. And it's kind of, you get the sense as well that throughout the whole film, Eminem is really, or B-Rabbit, whatever, is in his own world. Like, he does have his friendship group, who, by the way, I think all of them are good, and I think the chemistry between him and the friends are nice, but they're the most cliched kind of characters ever. There's kind of the leader, there's the fat funny one, there's the conscious one, there's the kind of goofy white boy. It's all a little bit, but I guess they had to be that way.
Yeah, it really is. It really is quite one-dimensional the way they're written, particularly Cheddar Bob as well. The way it's literally, if he wasn't in 8 Mile, he'd be one of Jesse's mates in Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just sort of scummy,
Badger-esque.
He's Badger-esque. Does meth a little bit, but not enough for him to seriously be harmed by it because the scripts say so.
Well, he does shoot himself.
Yeah, he does shoot himself, I suppose.
Which is quite surprising, and I guess that's one of the things that surprised me as well. That kind of, there aren't many guns in this film. Like in that scene when Eminem runs over to Anthony Mackie's crew and just starts. I'm surprised no one pulls anything out.
Yeah, you'd expect someone to
Have we just watched too much Wire? Because it's if you ran up on Marlowe,
I'm sure they must be packing in Detroit. Everyone must be there must be more guns going around than you think.
Yes, yeah, I think so. And it's nice you mention MC Bob as well, because I think the film is quite generic in some moments, but there are a few scenes that or moments I should say, that I really like, that are quite tender. One of them being when, after MC Bob shoots himself and Eminem goes around to see him and he pretends to be asleep, and then he goes in and he's like, "Why didn't you come out?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't want him to make fun of me." And that's it. That's the scene.
Yeah, it's quite a nice moment, isn't it? It's quite a nice moment in the film. I noticed that. It's quite down to earth as well, and quite touching in that respect. So there's nothing, no melodrama sort of latched onto it or anything. It's just quite a nice moment, quite a nice real moment in the film. Yeah,
and another moment as well that I really liked was when they're burning down that house, and Eminem finds the photo of the family.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, and he's
sorry, go on. Well, I was about to say, they really should have checked before they burnt down the house.
That was Cheddar Bob, wasn't it? He just fucking threw something on, oh my god, this guy.
They could have been, oh shit, we nearly burnt Eminem.
Yeah. And of course, I guess one of the things we're not mentioning is Brittany Murphy. Obviously, rest in peace, Brittany Murphy. Very sad that she died so young. I believe she was 33. when she died.
Yeah, I think it was drugs, wasn't it?
I believe it was. Apparently, there's a bit of a conspiracy about it, though. I mean, I don't mean to defile her name because I think she's very good in this, but I believe her and her husband were harbouring some sort of some whistleblower or something. I mean, Google this that you will. I don't really know much about it, but her husband was killed as well in very suspicious circumstances, and there's still a lot of conspiracy. But we're here to talk about 8 Mile, and she's great in this. I have to say, I think she's very good.
She is, yeah. She's very like. It's her performance is quite it's like she she has that kind of like she's a little bit slutty, but she also like she wants to make herself better, she wants to better herself, and she wants to just improve her life, and she gets that she's from like a kind of shitty area, and she's sort of in the same boat as a lot of them, really, and she just wants to improve her circumstance.
Yeah, it's quite a nice moment when they first meet, and Eminem inadvertently gives her the finger.
Yeah, and but she has like a sense of humor about it as well.
Yeah. That is quite a nice exchange. And Eminem, who works in the up-down button factory, like it's kind of a car plant, but they just seem to literally just press a button. Like I don't know if that's actually how they work in Detroit, but obviously Detroit used to be the Motor City, so it kind of has that holding over it. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird, isn't it? She's not like there is a romance, and they kind of have that that scene fucking in the factory.
Yeah, when she said like why don't you take me somewhere, I'm pretty sure she didn't have in mind a factory or like his place of work. And bear in mind that's the equivalent of being like the shop floor. That's the place where everyone works. It's not like they went up to like a private office or a toilet and just started fucking. They're like, there's probably like somebody just stamping this car part down, and they just sees Eminem like fucking
up against some generator.
Yeah. yeah, up against this metal compressor. Yeah, seen Marshall Mathers' cum face.
Yeah, I know what you mean. There is no privacy. I guess what it's trying to say is like, oh, they just they're so passionate, they just can't wait. But yeah, you would have thought there would have been just a little bit more, because it is so open, and like I don't know, Marshall has that. We keep fucking calling him Marshall, it's B-Rock, but it is Marshall, isn't it? It is fucking.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think they're one and the same, really. Like everyone knows what we're on about.
Yeah, but that's the thing though as well, because Eminem, you listen to his music. What comes up? Haley comes up, and obviously we have his sort of younger sister in the film, as well as Kim Basinger's kind of his mom as well. So it's all kind of, and I believe Mekhi Phifer, who plays Future, that's based on Proof from D12. Who was obviously one of Eminem's closest friends. So I think it's kind of, and obviously it's based in Detroit as well. So, it's kind of, it doesn't take too much to go beyond it, yeah. But that fucking scene is, it's not as cringy as I remember. I remember as a kid thinking it was quite funny. I'm not saying it's like erotic, but it's just kind of like, it's okay. And like, fair play to Eminem, to be fair. This, 2001, 2002, this was when he was absolute height of his powers. And for him to do a big film, to lead it, and for it to be quite good, it's quite impressive.
It is, man. Look, and he doesn't really have any background in acting as well. It seems like he's sort of, just gone for this head first and just sort of, I'll act in it. Like, I know what I want to bring to the table with this, so I'm going to give it, the best go possible.
And it's, I mean, okay, so when he battles, it doesn't, I guess it doesn't feel like Slim Shady, does it? He's not quite as like ridiculous or outlandish.
No, he's not. I think that's probably because it's a film, and it's they don't want to go too overboard with the illness, and they want to kind of get across the kind of freestyle aspect of it as well. So it's going to be a lot more off the cuff, more off the cuff, but also just kind of not too. Maybe it might sell it short as well if they make it too outrageous.
And I think one of the best scenes in the film is probably when they're all queuing up for the lunch truck.
Yeah, when an exhibit sort of starts having a go at people. What? It's like I'm just trying to get my breakfast, man. And exhibits rapping at me, telling me I'm a faggot. It's leave me alone.
It does have one of Eminem's worst lines ever. You've been working so long at this plant, you're a plant.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Is that bars? I don't know. But yeah,
Look at your boots. For God's sake, they're starting to grow roots.
It's funny, man, and it's very, very cool to see battle rap shot by movie cameras, and you just sort of see it in that environment.
Shot in that like high def sort of, and I noticed like in the rap battles as well, the rap battle scenes, everything has like a sort of green tinge to it as well, which is very interesting. And I don't know if that's on purpose. Maybe so you associate the battle like that color with the rap battles, and then everything else is with a different aspect.
Yeah, well, I mean, just in terms of the background slightly to the film as well, the film was directed by Curtis Hanson, who's kind of one of these directors that's done a lot of good films, but he's not one of the kind of big guys that you know. He hasn't really done any great films recently. His most famous film was LA Confidential, which is which makes
sense to why Kim Basinger's in it.
Yeah, well, he directed another film that I used to love as a kid. Have you ever seen The River Wild?
The River Wild, no.
Okay, so here's the plot to The River Wild, if I can remember it correctly. I haven't seen it for a long time. Meryl Streep is basically a kind of adventurer, and she's about to divorce her husband. They're on the brink of divorce, and they've gone on this kind of like hiking outdoor trip with their son. Kevin Bacon and John C. Reilly are on the run. They've like robbed a bank or something. I can't really remember. And they basically jump on their raft that Meryl Streep and her husband and her son have and hold them hostage. It's like PG-13. It's more of an adventure than like a real like thriller. It's quite a good film though. It's actually quite enjoyable. Okay. Yeah, it's one of those kind of early 90s kind of just, when they really knew how to make action films back then. Like,
does it feel kind of, tense and gritty or do you have a kind of, Homeward Bound sort of feel? Like, made for kids.
There's occasionally those sort of aspects, there's a fuck ton of rafting in it. They're constantly on a raft in the film, but like, it's not bad. And it's good to see Meryl Streep. I think she's like in her late 40s at this point. It's early 90s, kind of doing an action film, but and the film was written by Scott Silver, who I'm just looking at his IMDb now. He wrote the screenplay to The Fighter, but he doesn't.
Very good.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem to have done much else really. But in terms of 8 Mile, it's one of those things where it starts with a rap battle. Obviously, it ends with a rap battle. It ends with him getting some sort of redemption. And what do you think of that final scene, the final rap battle?
I thought it was very effective because I don't think people before that knew that self-deprecation could be used in battle rap. That the idea that you could, put yourself down as a way to dismantle your opponent.
Yes, totally, yeah.
So I think that comes through really well. The way the battles go, it's almost like he's worked his way up to the boss level.
Yeah,
like the way he battles Anthony Mackie, he goes through 2 of them, doesn't he? And then he battles Anthony Mackie.
Yeah, that's so true. And I guess that was how it was back in the day. And it's kind of part of the film that sort of bothered me was if the battles are every week, it doesn't make it as epic. You know what I mean? It's not like it's a yearly tournament that he's got to the top of. It's like, oh, you just go down and just shout next week, and like it. And when he wins the battle at the end, it doesn't really sort of suggest anything, does it? He just kind of walks off. It's not like he wins a prize.
No, he doesn't. There's no real sort of. I suppose it's just respect, isn't it? He's just got respect from it,
yeah.
And but that's a good point. To be fair, yeah. If it's going on every week, it's not going to happen. Like people just aren't going to bother really, unless what I mean. Everybody's pining to go to the rap shed.
Yeah.
on
Yo, can you hear me?
And spit some bars.
Yo, man, can you hear me?
Oh, hang on, I'm cut off. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. One of the things as well that I thought didn't really make sense to me and kind of bothered me when I was rewatching it the other week. Why does Brittany Murphy cheat on him? Like, I appreciate she kind of wants to get further in the game to a certain extent, but I forgot about that when I was rewatching it. I didn't remember that she did that, and it kind of made me dislike her.
It comes out really out of the blue, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I guess it's because she kind of wants to maybe he came onto her and she can't really say no because she's using his connections for her book that she only talks about once.
Yeah.
What's she writing about, by the way?
I think
what's the book about?
There is, I mean, there is a scene just before that when they're in the car together, and you see that guy, I think his name's Wink or whatever, kind of eye her up slightly. So it kind of sets the scene. But I know what you mean. Yeah, if she wants to move to New York. Eminem wants to be, well, obviously he wants to be a rapper in some sort of form or another. But yeah, the winning the battle doesn't offer anything, and it is kind of annoying. But then at the end, they kind of trade, fingers, so it kind of establishes they're okay, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. It's kind of just sort of wrapped up very quickly. He does sort of eye her up a little bit, but then again, so do like a lot of B Rabbit's mates. So you don't really like notice it as much.
True.
Everybody, like, whenever she's around, like, somebody will just be like, "Damn, that bitch is fine." He'll just say, "Okay, we needed to know that again." or B Magic's mother as well, who seems to get involved and seems to get message on. And yeah, Kid Basinger looks great in it. But one of the things that people might not realize about this film, unless you've watched Shovel T and Marlowe versus Marv 1 and Quest, is that Marv 1 was meant to be in this. Which is absolutely crazy. And I found a pretty interesting article online. And Marv 1 speaks about it. He says, quote, "What a lot of people don't know is that on parts where people think he's pantomiming, he was actually rapping." So basically Marv is talking about how he was on stage with Eminem. His mic was just turned off, so I hear him rapping, but I have no idea what he was saying then. All I remember is, as he was turning the mic, he was like, "Oh, I've got something for you, Marv. I've got something for your fat ass." And then after I spit my verse, the crowd was loving me, is what Marv said. So the competitor in him just couldn't let it go. I wish he wasn't as petty, and I wish I was just a bigger man and let me have my damn moment, but he didn't. And you can see, unfortunately the scene got left on the cutting room floor, but it is on the DVD. It's one of the extra scenes. You can see Marv battling Eminem, which is fucking crazy. That is crazy, man. To just come back, to watch 8 Mile, get into battle rap, just, by yourself in your own time and space, and then years later come out and realise that one of the people that you've watched in quite a few battles was in 8 Mile. It's just, it's crazy, man. It is absolutely insane. And, I think Marv, in his own right is a Detroit legend, so it made sense for him to put out there. But yeah, if you go on YouTube and search Eminem versus Marv 1, it's there. It's 2 minutes long and you can watch it. It's fucking crazy, man. And obviously 8 Mile is one of those films that just penetrates the culture. It was mine and yours, and I'm sure millions of other people's first experience with battle rap. You don't really think of it in that sense, perhaps, but it was there. And I asked on Reddit recently battles that referenced 8 Mile, and there are so fucking many, including that Shovel T and Marlowe one, and also a battle that we hold true to our heart, Danny, Snow versus Ty Law. Oh, yeah, when he saw brilliant. What round is that in?
In the first round, where he's basically, Snow is talking about Detroit. "I don't care about X losing to Goods, Calico getting killed, or that Lux 8 Miles.
8 Mile, yeah.
If you find yourself in front of that white boy from Michigan, it ain't martial law. Yeah. And then remember against 24/7? He had a freestyle about how 24/7 looked like he was dressed like Eminem in 8 Mile.
I think you cut off. Say again.
When I was battling 24/7, he had a freestyle about how 24/7 looked like he was dressed as Eminem in 8 Mile. Oh, yeah, he does actually. Yeah, that's that's quite funny. Yeah, that is really funny. And Iron Solomon against B Magic refers to himself as B Rabbit briefly, which is quite interesting. And there's tons of fucking stuff here. Throughout. Quill has one against Raptor actually, talking about he's talking about how the wife beating angle and Raptor's daughter, and next time it could be Lily Rabbit, which is obviously Eminem. B Rabbit's sister is called Lily in that thing. There are fucking tons of them all around. DNA in his last round against Big T. Dougie versus Chess. Diestro Dollar versus Dirt. There's so many battles. It's just penetrated the culture so much. And I think what's great about it at the end of the day is that it's a very watchable film. I'm very confident I could just put it on for friends and no one wouldn't enjoy it. It's not bad. No, it's not bad at all. It captures the culture really well, and it has a lot of enjoyable points in it that you can just sort of go along with, and it's not very long as well. No, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't overstay its welcome. But I mean, could there be some sort of I don't know. Could there be another battle rap film? Do you reckon it could be done well?
I think so, yeah. I think so, absolutely. Because, they could always focus on just how battle rap's just changed since then. There's more written battles. There's more of a... It's a lot more bigger in terms of its scale. It's more commercial to that aspect. I don't know what the plot would be, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, I want to see Ben Wheatley do a reimagining of the history of Don't Flop.
Oh, and I want to see Aaron Sorkin write the script.
Aaron Sorkin and Ben Wheatley, and it's about the power struggles between and Mickey Worthless in 2012.
This is quickly turning into The Social Network, but it's just about
the Social Network.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that would be fucking awesome. I believe Kid Twist, actually, I think I might have mentioned this before, wrote a film called Bodied, which is coming out soon, directed by Joseph Kahn, who's a massive music video director, and all the battle rappers were in it, I think, as cameos, like Diz, Pat Stay, Hollow, Saurus, all those guys were in it. I'm not sure exactly when that's coming out, but I think that's the closest thing we're going to have to another battle rap movie other than 8 Mile.
Yeah, quite possibly. What's the plot?
I'm not sure. I'm just doing a bit of research now, and I'm on the website, and there doesn't seem to be any actual release date coming out. We literally just have Bodied, a film by Joseph Kahn, on there, so they don't seem to announce much. But fuck me, that's so exciting that's coming out. I'm
gonna watch this shit.
Oh my god, and it's so cool that Kid Twist wrote it. That's just great. You know what I mean? It's not like they got fucking David Hayer in to do it or some shit.
No, they got a guy who's that knows his stuff and knows what, and he's. I think it's going to be the same thing. I think he's going to do a really good job.
Oh, okay. I'm on the IMDb, and there is actually a little sort of synopsis. Here's the plot: a graduate student finds success and sparks outrage when his interest in battle rap as a thesis subject becomes a competitive obsession. Sounds pretty interesting. So it's about him battling, which is good. It's not like the battle rap is just involved. And Anthony Michael Hall's in it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so that's always a good thing. Shout out Breakfast Club. Shout out Dark Knight. I mean, he's only briefly in Dark Knight, but yeah.
Yeah, man, he's been near the bat.
Yeah. So yeah, that's 8 Mile really. I guess if I'm going to sort of summing it up, I think the plot is a little lacking, and it's kind of predictable from the off, but I think it's well written. When I was watching it, there was never a moment, and I think a lot of films do have this problem. I think Get Rich or Die Trying definitely had this problem, the 50 Cent film, where the dialogue's just clunky, and it just kind of feels a bit, it's really taking me out of it. I think the performances are good. I think Mekhi Phifer's future's pretty good as well. I think everyone has chemistry. Eminem's character's a little bit, you don't know why they'd be friends with B-Rabbit, even though he's a great rapper. He's a bit of a miserable bastard at the end of the day.
He is, yeah. He's really glum all the time. He either gets super pissed off or he just looks depressed. It's quite. So you don't really, there's a few scenes where he kind of has a bit of a laugh, I guess, but it's not really. But having saying that, most of the scenes, they don't feel like filler. They don't feel like a means to an end. They kind of take it bit by bit, and you can really absorb all the characters and everything. And by the end, you kind of, and like you say, it doesn't overstay its welcome.
No,
so
no.
It ultimately works as well, and it doesn't bombard you with battle rap as well. It just it shows you enough of it as well to and it shows you good stuff as well.
Yeah, I think there's enough battle rap in there. You wouldn't feel cheated. You do get quite a good amount of battles scattered throughout there, but it's not overkill. There is a story at the backbone of it, and it's interesting that Eminem's never came back to acting since.
No, he's been in I think the last thing I saw him in was that Funny People, with Seth Rogen and Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
He had a cameo as himself, and he was he was telling Adam Sandler that he should have killed himself.
Doesn't he say hello to Ray Romano in it? He's like, "Do you want to fuck me, Ray?"
Yeah, because Ray Romano keeps looking at him. He's like, "Why don't you take a picture? It lasts longer."
Hi, Marshall.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, Marshall."
Yeah.
He's like, "Do you want to fuck me, Ray?" And Seth Rogen's like, "Damn, man, I thought everybody loved you."
Yeah, well, that is 8 Mile. I urge people to go and check it out, but I assume if you're a battle rap fan, you've probably seen it multiple times. It is kind of a, low-key classic, I suppose, in the culture. But Danny, thanks so much, man. I'm sure we'll have you back to review Bodied, which, I can't wait till that comes out.
Oh, it's going to be fucking insane. Oh my god, I can't wait. There's going to be a documentary as well by about Don't Flop, I've heard as well.
Yes. I'm going to try, me and the director have had a little back and forth. I'm going to try and get him on the show because I'd love to hear about that. I know it's been years in production and it's crazy that it's coming out.
It is, yeah. And I had I've said to you as well, like, why haven't they made a documentary about battle rap? But lo and behold, it was in the works the whole time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something that you just like. Hopefully, they'll have the good sense to put it on Netflix as soon as possible because I think that would be really popular.
Oh, it will, yeah. People will go crazy for that. That will really, people will talk about it and they'll say, oh, it's on Netflix. Come on, you just check it out, man. It's going to be amazing.
But Danny, thanks so much as ever, man. I'm sure we'll see you soon.
All right, man. Speak to you soon.
All right.